Hey, what's up guys? I hope you're doing great, and in this video I'm just showing you a bit what meal prep looks like for us, alright? So, first thing is I cooked some ground beef, but it wasn't too lean. That's a tip that you can start doing. When you're cooking your ground beef, so start by cooking it and then drain it. Take off the fat. A lot of times there's a lot of fat. Here, you can come and see all the fat that's coming out of it. So I basically just drained it and I'm putting it there to let the fat come out. It's a lot of calories that I don't want. And a lot of time ground beef, even when you're getting it lean, has so much fat in it. So I cook it, I let it sit right there, and I take off the fat. You take off a lot more calories, and I don't want to have too much fat. I don't like it when my food is so greasy. So what does a meal prep look like? Well, it's pretty much what you will see here. So I think people overcomplicate their meals, all right? Make sure that you find a meat that you enjoy. It's very simple. Find a meat that you enjoy, whether it's beef, chicken, it can be salmon, it can be fish, all right? So this onion is no good because it's brown in the middle. By the way, if you don't know, I studied cooking, so I'm technically a professional chef, all right? I worked in the kitchen for almost 6 years, professional kitchens, anyways, and I gave it all up to focus more on personal training, a lot less stressful. So let's get back to nutrition. A lot of people overcomplicate their nutrition, all right? Just stick with the meats that you enjoy, stick with veggies that you enjoy, and a carb that you enjoy. So basically now we're doing, just cut this very fast. We are doing lean ground beef, but it's something that we really enjoy, lean ground beef. We would eat that almost all the time. Extra lean ground beef, and then we add the veggies that we want. For carbs, it will be either rice or potatoes. Alright, I have a little bit of potatoes in here, and it's so simple. You don't need to diversify so much as people think. Some people want to always change their protein, change the beef, change this, change that, have a different veggie, have a different source of meat. Well, you don't need to. Stick with whatever you like, whatever you prefer. So for this meal, what I'm doing is I'm degreasing the beef. So now the beef, I cooked it before, taking off the fat. Right now we will add the onions right there. All right, this is actually one of the meals that I will eat most of the time. It's a little bit of onions, all right, saute them, give some flavor. Then I will basically put some veggies, tomatoes. I'll cut some mushrooms in there, maybe a little bit of carrots. Then I will peel and cut some small potatoes in there. All right. Then add back the ground beef, add the tomato sauce. All right. And let it all cook. I will eat that with some rice. That's really what I love eating. I will have that almost every single day. I prefer beef over chicken because it's so much more nutritious. And with ground beef, it's so much easier to keep things diverse in terms of recipes. So let's say one day I can do meatballs in the oven, one day I can do tomato sauce just like that with pasta, one day I can do more Middle Eastern style, one time more Italian style. For the spices, what I will use is salt, pepper, some onion powder, and I love adding some red pepper flakes. Alright, so that's pretty much it. Here, my girlfriend cooked some of her ground beef because she want to add it on her salad. But me, I prefer my meat really in sauce, mixed in sauce, so it's not too dry, and I can have that with rice. So that's pretty much it. That's pretty much what I would eat. And for my portions, I try to have 200 grams. I don't measure because I can tell now after years, but I try to have 200 grams of beef or any meat. So let's say I'm having chicken, it would be 200 grams of cooked chicken or 200 grams of fish, any meat, plus 2 cups of cooked white rice. And then for veggies, I can have any veggie I want. Veggies are just a plus. You don't need to have veggies. A lot of people over stress about the veggies, and they make things so complicated. They think that they need to have veggies and they hate veggies, and then they're not able to really eat healthy. So look at this. I'm trying to really keep the heat high to give a flavor on the onions. All right, when the heat is a little bit high, It does give more flavor. So now, potatoes are in, carrots are in, tomatoes are in. There's some mushrooms in there too. So it's gonna take, let's say, 15 minutes to cook well for the potatoes also to be cooked. They're small, but once I'll cover it, it's gonna cook pretty fast. I did add a bunch of spices in there too. So that's it. It's pretty simple. It's basically like a stew that I will have with some rice. All right, so I'll show you the end result. All right, guys, it's all done now. This is what it looks like at the end. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of hot sauce on it. Today I'm not eating much carbs in the evening, so I'll just have ground beef with, yes, there is some potatoes, but it's more ground beef and some veggies. So that's it. It's just to give you an idea of a little recipe that I do very often. Actually, I'll put the beef, I'll put sometimes more tomato sauce to make it more kind of a tomato sauce with rice. Sometimes it's more like this. Yes, there is tomatoes, but it's not too strong. And I'll eat that with rice, or just like this, a bit of beef without the rice. So in this case, just because I don't want to have much carbs in the evening, there's just the carbs of the potatoes. And that's it. All right, it was very, very, very easy to make. So just showing you guys meal prep. Doesn't have to be boring. It doesn't have to be dry. Put the spices you want. Make it fun. Make it interesting. The only thing that you want to be careful with is the fat. So let's say the oil. Don't overdo the oil. If you're cooking chicken, don't make the chicken kind of submerged in oil, but just enough so it doesn't stick. And if you're cooking something like ground beef, try to take off the fat. So that's it. Try it out. Try a recipe that is similar to that. All right, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Ciao.